crazy. I almost can't believe that this is in my shop. Good morning, everybody. We are finally getting to install this lift. It's been sitting here for, I don't know, like a month or so. And I am excited to get it off of this palleting, whatever, I guess you call this palleting, and get it stood up and get it into place. So that's what's happening in this video. Alright, so the first thing we need to do to get this lift installed is I actually need to lay out some lines on the ground and figure out where it's going to go. I know it's going to go 15 feet, so basically dead center here, because I want to have plenty of room for toolboxes and things in front of it. So I'm going to put it 15 feet from either wall. It's going to be centered in the shop. The shop's 30 feet deep. So we're going to center it, but I need to lay out some lines from the door to the back wall and make sure that everything's going to get squared up. I got to figure out the spacing on this. I got a lot to figure out, actually. But first we're going to do is just get these lines laid out, and then we'll start figuring out from there. All right, here we are. We have marked out on the ground. That's where the outside edge of the bottom of the plate here, basically. That's the outside line of it. I got it on both sides here. It's just slightly narrower than the door itself. The door is 12 inches and, or not 12 inches. The door is 12 feet wide, and this thing is just a little shy of 12 feet wide total. So it's 137 inches, which is like 11 and a half feet or so, or a little less than that. But that's what we got so far. I'm going through the instructions. We got full-blown instructions here with this lift. It shows from the very beginning how to go, how to set this thing up. So this is what I'm following. Let's show you the very first page. Shows you dimensions. So this gives you all the dimensions, and that's what I'm working off right now. So we got that done, and now we basically have to move on to the next step. You know, just follow this thing all the way through. So I gotta bust out all of the parts and just start putting this thing together. But one of the things we have to do, we have to get it off of this palleting. So I need to get the tractor up here. I need to get tools in order to do this, and that's basically where we're at. So I need to start gathering things to make this happen and get the tractor up here so we can take this thing apart. Alright, so now that I have that apart, I gotta go in here and I gotta start just working on these steps. The first one is to latch cable guides. So just a couple of things have to happen, and then we can stand this thing up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take care of that. I'm not gonna bore you guys with all the little steps, but I'm gonna start working on it. Everybody, we are back in the shop. We got this, we got everything set up on the lift that we could get done, which was basically running the cables through it, a couple of fittings on the top, you know, we're just following along with the instructions. And this morning we're going to stand this thing up, and then I'm going to go rent a drill to drill the holes for the anchors. And hopefully we'll have this thing at least standing today, maybe not operating, but actually standing up. So that's what we're working on. I got to run another chalk line across because I want to get there's 2 notches in this plate here on the front and the back, and that basically tells you if it's square. So I'm going to run that line across to make sure that everything's square. So that's what we're working on. We're about to stand these things up. Alright, so we got that thing stood up. I wanted to put, you don't have to put that thing up before you nail them down. It's not even part of the instructions, it's afterwards before you. But I wanted to put that up there just to make sure that my spacing was correct. And it turns out that it is. Everything's squared up really nicely. My next step is to go get this concrete drill. I gotta get a concrete drill with a 3/4 inch bit. These are the anchors. They're 3/4 inch by 5.5 inches long. They came with the lift, so I'm using what they supplied. And yeah, so we're gonna go get that drill and the bit to drill this. We're gonna get these holes drilled, get these things hammered in. We're crossing our fingers that we have enough concrete here in this spot. There should be. So, if there's not, we got big problems. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so I'm back from the rental place. We have our drill here. We have our bit. Here's our bit. We need to go about 4¼ inches deep. That's a little bit deep actually, but we need to go just about there. And then I'm following the directions 100% on these. They need to be torqued to 110 foot-pounds, I believe. I'll make sure before I do it, but basically you drill the hole, you clean the hole out, you hammer these down until they're flush like that, you know, with the bolt and the washer, or the nut and the washer up against the thing. Then you tighten them down, torque it to 110 foot-pounds. So that's what we're doing. Here's our drill. So it's a Hilti TE70. Got it from the rental place, so this all should work out. Or this all should work. Oh, there we go, there's the color. Okay. Set the hammer, drill, and hammer. Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and give this a shot. I have an air compressor at the moment, so most of it seemed to come up out of there. So we're just trying to clean it out. This little bulb. Alright, here we go. There's the first one. Alright. That's one down, 9 to go. Turns out we have enough concrete there, so thank goodness for that. So let's get all these drilled out, and then we'll start tightening them up. All right, I just misspoke. There are 6 per column, so that's 12. So we got 1 down, 11 to go. Alright, so I'm going to start running these down. I don't think that this thing is capable of maybe 100 foot-pounds. It needs to be 110. So I'm going to run them down pretty good. And then I'm going to come back with the torque wrench, torque all these down to 110. I forgot, but I got my snap-on gun. So we're going to run these down a little bit with the snap-on gun. Alright, we got the digital. Alright, so this is set, this only goes to 100, so we're going to start at 100, and then I got one of these manual kind of dial ones. We'll finish with this. We'll see where we're at. Start with it. Alright, well, that's it. We got them installed. We got well, that's not it. We got a lot more to do still. But they're up. Big step in the right direction. Alright, so I found out that I skipped a step. I gotta level these things. So it turns out this one over here is a little bit out of level. So I got a shim. It comes with these shims right here, these thin little hue shims that go around the bolts. So I gotta loosen these things back up, shim them so they're plumb and level, or whatever you want to call it, and that should be good. It's good this way. It's nice this way. This one over here, though, I think is level, or is plumb this way. Looks good that way, but this way, it needs a little bit of lean to it. So it needs, yeah. So I'll have to shim the back of this one in order to lean it over just a little bit that way, and then in this one I got to shim a little bit going that way. So I'm gonna work on that, and then I'll get back with you guys. Alright, so the next thing I'm working on is the cables. So there's these cables that go up into a hole inside of this, and then they go down around a pulley. They go up, and they go over, and they go down to the other side. The purpose of these cables is to keep the arms equal as they go up and down. So what I'm doing is I'm routing them through where they need to go. It just seems like the next logical step because they're just kind of hanging right now. And if I can at least get them to where they're supposed to be, then they'll start to be out of the way. So that's what I'm working on right now. I gotta get up and just feed these through where they need to go. Alright, so I got those things fed into their respective locations. Now, I should have done this before I put that whole thing up there, but you guys saw how I did it. What I'm going to do now is I got to put the limiting switch with the with this padded bar goes up there, and this goes through here, and this limiting switch, when your car hits it, it stops the lift, so you can't crush your roof. So we're going to do that. Alright, so I guess I misunderstood the way this works. The bar is going to sit on the switch, and then when it picks up off of it, that's when it lets go. So it uses these two holes here. Instructions are pretty rudimentary. These two holes here are what bolt to the top, to that bar that goes across the top there. Alright, so it's the next day. We got this thing stood up. We got a bunch of stuff handled. The last thing we did yesterday was put that that stopper, or that emergency stop beam across there with the switch. The next step in the instructions is to install the pump here. So that's what we're going to work on. We're going to get the pump installed. We're going to get all the fittings installed for all the lines. And I think that's the next thing, is probably running all the hoses. So that's where we're going. I dropped my son off at school this morning and realized I guess it's a short day, so it's like 2 hours. So I got very little time to get something done on here, but hopefully we can come back out later and maybe he can help me work on it. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this pump installed and get all the fittings installed, and then we'll start working on the hoses. Alright, so here's our hoses. This long one here goes from this side up and over, and then there's going to be a T to where it goes through. The T goes through here, and the hose comes out and comes down to here. We're talking about the pressure hose at this point. So the T goes up, goes down through here, it's going to connect there, and then we got the short hose is going to go from here up to the T. So that's what we got. So we got our long hose that goes all the way over. We got our short hose that goes to the T, and then our other hose that goes from the T down to the pump. Let's get those installed. Here's the problem with these directions. Once again, look. So we got our this is our pressure line. It's gonna go up here and tie into there and go into the thing. Anyways, it shows the return line. This is the fitting for the return line. It shows it going in right here somewhere. But as you can see on here, there's nothing here. There's literally nothing on this tank to stick a fitting into. So this is what I'm finding with these instructions. They're not accurate to what to the current. They're not accurate to the current, you know, parts that they're using. So this tank is obviously different than what they've been using, and this line goes in somewhere else. But I have to figure out where that is. So this one looks like it would fit in here if that's where it's supposed to go. That one probably is the same. So I'm gonna try pulling this one, and we gotta see if it just dumps into the tank. That'll be our hole. Alright, well, no resistance there. I'm gonna go ahead and run this one. Let's hope that's correct. If not, we'll be fixing it later. Alright, good morning everybody. It's another day in here trying to get this thing put together. Today we're running the cable for the locks, and we got the instructions here. The cable runs across the top. It's got some parts where it's sheathed and some parts where it's unsheathed. I have to put this little cable holder on the top. There are already two of them on the sides inside. It told us to do that beforehand. And then it kind of just runs through. It runs from one lock to the other over the top. So that's basically what we're doing right now. And then we'll put these little covers on that'll cover up the locks. So that's what we're working on. And then I need to go and get the stuff to do the wiring. And then we still have to put the arms on. But we're getting a lot closer. So today Mom is at work. So I've got Johnny out here with me. He's playing. And we're gonna get this thing set up. Here's our lock. I already put this handle on here earlier, although that has come back off actually. So this is it right here. You can't really pull, I could pull it, but right now these things are locked in place. I'm gonna leave them locked in place. But we gotta get all these parts put on here to make this thing work. So it only came with 2 wheels, but it came with 2 places to put the wheels. So each side has a lower one here and an upper one. I think we have to go with the upper one, because I think it's gonna basically pull off of here, off of this guy right here, and then the cable goes up here. That brings it inside the body, brings it straight up. It goes into those cable sheaths, and that goes over the top. It goes straight across the top into the sheath, which brings it down. And then same thing on the other side. We'll have another one of these. Except for on the other side, this is why it has 2. On the other side, it's going to go down and it's going to come up through here. Up through here and then pull on the latch to go this way. 'Cause this way, this side, we're actually pulling on the latch ourselves. And then that pulls the cable, but on the other side, if it went through the top, it would pull the wrong way. So it actually goes down through the bottom and comes up and pulls on that latch. So I'm gonna get these guys installed. They got some little clips that go on there. And then we're gonna start running cable and doing all that. Alright, so this is going to be really hard to show, so I'm not really going to show it, but so we have to go up there and we have to attach this guy that holds the cable. Cable goes in there like that, and then there's another one inside the body, inside of here, up there, and that's how the cable makes the turn up there. So I got to attach these ones on the top. I've already got the ones in here, and then the cable just slides in there, and it makes the turn to the top. There we go. Okay. We're gonna find out when we start using this thing if this thing is adjusted right. If not, we're gonna come back and adjust it. We're not gonna cut this cable, we're just gonna wrap it up and put it under this cover here. Yep. Alright, last thing is this cover. Alright, so we gotta tie this up to something so it doesn't just dangle willy-nilly. So let's just go ahead and tie it like this. I'm just gonna let it hang just like that. Okay, so this thing has a little plastic cover that goes in here. Basically covers that up. Requires 3 washers. Okay, and this guy, and this. Alright. Okay, here we go. Alright, so this whole thing needs to be adjusted once we start. I was just reading the instructions. This whole thing needs to be adjusted once we start actually raising it up. So, the next thing, I need some grease before I install the arms. Some lithium grease is what it calls for. And then I need the stuff for the wiring. So that's what we're gonna go do. We're gonna go take a trip to the store, to Home Depot, and get the wiring for this thing. So I need to figure that out, and I'll see you guys when we probably going to be installing the arms next, and then the wiring last. So we'll see you then. Good morning, everybody. We are back at this. I finally have a day to finish this project up, or at least I hope finish it up. Last time I talked to you guys, we had worked on the electrical. I believe I showed you guys what I did. Maybe I didn't show you guys yet what I did. So we got this 4x4 box installed right there. I ran the wiring all the way along there, over there, and to the fuse box. So today, our first order of business is to finish up the wiring. So I gotta go from the box to the switch. That's like the safety switch. From the safety switch down to this box here. And what I've done so far is I put a block off plate on where the wiring used to come out right here. So we're just going to tie into this like we would in like a regular junction box. We're going to come out of this side. I thought that this side would just be better because it's going to follow with this hose. And I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. I just thought aesthetically and functionally it'd be better coming out of that side. So this is the wire we're going to use. This is just something that I had laying around. It's actually slightly overkill for what we need here. This is a 10-3. And we only need 12 gauge. So this is going to work perfect. I thought it would just be nice because it's flexible, and I already had it. It was kind of like this wire, except for it's way more flexible than this wire is. So this is going to go into here, and then we're going to run that up there to that box. I got a couple more of these fittings here, and we're going to make it happen. Let's see if I can get this lift working today. Alright, so all the wiring is done. I think it turned out pretty good. Comes from here, goes up through those built-in straps, and I got zip ties going all the way up, and all the fittings and everything looks pretty dang good if you ask me. So now the next step is to fill this thing up, and then once I got some fluid in it, we'll flip the breaker and we'll start operating it, and we'll see if it starts working. Alright, well the breaker didn't kick off, so that's a good sign. Oh! I just saw something move. Let's get you back here so we can see what's going on. Just saw that side move, so let's see. Oh, there we go. I think our locks are misadjusted for sure. Alright, well. I'm worried that once this thing goes up, it's not going to come back down because there's not enough weight on these to bring them down. So I think we're going to go ahead and put the arms on, and then we'll cycle it after that happens, because I don't know, it doesn't seem like it wants to come down. Alright, so I got the arms on. I went a little heavy on the grease on the pins. I ended up having to wipe a whole bunch off that just kind of splooged out of the top there. So here's the locks. We got the locks in place. See, there's that sucker drop down in there. And then when you want to unlock these, you just pull on this guy. But then when it hits the ground, it actually unlocks them automatically. So I also got... I'm just kind of wrapping things up at this point. So I got these little brackets put on the side, and it's got these extensions, and I'm still working on filling this up 100%. Alright, so the problem I'm having now is that the lift arms don't really want to come down. And I don't know if that's like an adjustment problem or not, but I'm going to raise this thing all the way up for the first time, and let's hope these things want to come back down. So let's run it through the whole cycle all the way up. That's it. Okay. I think I need to tighten up this cable, which is on that side. This one seems pretty tight. This one seems pretty tight. That one's really tight. So, let's see what this does. See, and that's my problem right now. Look at that. I have the locks disengaged. Oh. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to keep messing with this. I'm actually going to loosen that one just a smidge. I'm going to keep tightening on this one. And I'm just going to look at everything and make sure that everything's looking good and the cables are routed the way they're supposed to be. They were the last time I looked at them, but I want to make sure. So I'll get back with you guys when I get this thing equalized out, and I think it should go up and down pretty easily once the cables are equal. Alright, well I got this thing working, but guess what? Guess who overfilled? Now that we got it down. Whoa! Oh my. Okay, that was more than I was expecting. Definitely worked some air bubbles out there though, didn't we? Gotta clean up this mess, and then we're gonna throw a car on here. Alright, one more thing. We're gonna make it official here. We're gonna put this forward sticker on here. Alright, there's that. Alright, so it is time to test this thing out. The only thing I have here that I think is going to come in here is my truck. One of the things we're working on, it's going to happen pretty soon in the next week or two, hopefully, is that this is all going to get fixed so that it's a normal approach into the garage. Right now, I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but it's pretty, it probably doesn't look like it on the camera, but it's pretty steep, and obviously we have a big lip up there. So like nothing's gonna make it in here except for something that's got a little bit of clearance. So thought about getting my Suburban and bringing it over here, put on the lift, but I don't think it'll make it up here. So, well, especially not without hitting, scraping on something. So. We got it in here. That was it took 4-wheel drive to do it, but we're here. I'm being a little cautious. This is the first time I've lifted this up. It's the first time in a while since I've really even used a lift, and it's just a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm gonna look at the. There's a little manual. Let me grab it. All right. So this lift comes with 3 different manuals here. This one is from the Automotive Lift Institute, and it's Vehicle lifting points and frame engagement for frame engagement lifts. Okay. We got lifting it right, safety manual by the Automotive Lift Institute, which is the same company as this. Automotive Lift Institute and ANSI, approved American National Standard Institute. Safety requirements for operating, inspection, and maintenance. Okay, so this is the maintenance and inspection of the lift. I think I have the truck about where it needs to be. Maybe you could go a little bit more forward, but you got to think, you know, especially this being a diesel, there's a lot of weight right here on the front. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and lift this thing up. I'm gonna position it where I think it needs to be. We're going to lift it a little bit off the ground and just see how it feels, if it feels even, and if it feels good, then we're going to lift it up. I think it feels light on the front. Well, actually it's not bad. Let's see how it feels when I push on the front. If we want to pitch more forward, we could open the door, so let's do that. Alright. That feels a little better, honestly. That feels a little better. Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's it right there. Let's take it up. Let's close this door because it's gonna get in the way. Wasn't going to go high enough really for my truck because we've only got 12-foot ceilings, and they make lifts that have an extension to go higher. We're not even all the way up. I'm a little bit worried about my, yeah, we can definitely go up some more, but my canopy's got a little kick up on it that makes it a little bit taller than the cab of the truck, so I'm slightly worried about that, but it's actually plenty high where it is right now for me to do anything on it. So let me take you guys under the truck with me. Look at this. We're under here. Oh man, we got a little bit of a seepage here that I didn't know about. Actually, you know what? That's always like that when I do the fluids. I don't know. I think it's a little seepage out of this guy. This guy could use some sealant. But one thing we got, especially when you want to put these big trucks up here, we got these jack stands. So we can take this guy and we can throw this under the back for safety purposes, and then one under the front, and then we're set up. So let me do that real quick. Let me throw those jack stands under there. Heavy duty guy here. Let's throw this one under the front just for fun. And this is adjustable like this, so we can throw it like so. And then, woo. All right. So you end up taking just a little bit of, you can take a little bit of weight off things, and you just basically stabilize the whole thing. So now it can't do that whole rocking thing like it was doing. I am so stoked about this. I mean, this is amazing that I can finally put a car on a lift and just get underneath it. Not have to crawl around on the ground. I gotta go get one of those oil drains. Oh, that's what I need to get. I can't really do an oil change under here. I mean, I can make something work and get it up, but this is exciting. This is so nice to have this. This is super nice to have this. This is crazy. I almost can't believe that this is in my shop. So now I can My truck needs a little bit of work here. Needs a little maintenance. I do a pretty good job with it. I try to keep up on things. But this is gonna make it so much easier. I think this is gonna be it for this episode. In fact, it is it for this episode. I mean, I'm super stoked about this. I'll show you guys me letting this thing down, but it's working great. I did hear once so now that I put a car on it, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put it back down and I'm gonna go through it again, make sure the cables are good and whatnot, because it could have stretched some things out. I noticed that the locks were going up at different times. So that's a sign that those cables are loose again or they're out of adjustment. So I'll have to go ahead and do that. And then, but you know, I'm super excited about this. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man, that one's loose. And that one's tight. Okay, so something moved. Something did something. I kind of knew that something was a little bit out of whack, but we'll get this cable tightened up. I knew, yeah, because this one, it was really tight, and then, yeah, so that one was something wasn't in place where it should have been. So, like I said, that's it for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get that adjusted. But thank you guys so much for staying tuned during the shop build. We're gonna get back on projects here pretty soon. I've got a couple of wiring things to wrap up and load all the tools and stuff in here. So, like I said, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please smash that like button for me. Hit the subscribe. Hit the bell if you want to get notified of future videos coming out from DJ's Hot Rod and Fab. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.